Okay, and we are live. Hello, everybody. I'm Carissa Des,
And I'm Hiram.
and this is Based with Des and Hiram, where we talk about controversial topics, where where we like to talk about topics that aren't talked about a lot, and we're here to just to get into it. And this is our guest over here, Anita Noel Green. Thank you so much for
Hello.
joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, Anita, thank you so much for being here with us. Carissa was telling me that you guys met doing some professional work, documenting, things that were happening in the real world. And she also mentioned that you focused and were involved in the beauty pageant community in Austin. And I'll be frank with you, although Carissa shared some of your material with me and I got familiar with it, I'm curious to hear from you what these beauty pageants are like, what your career and experiences have been like, anything that you think could make us more educated, that could be edifying, we would love to have. So, again, thank you for being here. And we can start off with that while Carissa checks the audio. I know Carissa's checking the audio, so.
Okay. All right. So I am about to enter into my fifth pageant ever, and I'm going to be competing in that pageant early next month. I'm really excited. And so let's go to the beginning of my pageant journey, right? I started doing pageants when I was 26. Maybe we should go even further back though. Growing up, I I felt surrounded by the beauty pageant worlds because my sister competed in pageantry. And because she was always doing pageants, I thought that that was a really normal thing. And like, I thought that that was something that most girls and women did. And she really inspired me to get involved in pageantry. And I was kind of shocked when I later learned that, you know, a lot of women don't do pageants. So, um, once I became an adult, I transitioned. And once I felt comfortable enough in my transition, I started competing in pageants at the age of 26. I'll stop there and for now. And because I could go on and on and on, you can ask away.
So, I wanted to ask, what was it like when you first got into pageantry? What was your first experience and your first, from your view, what was that like?
All right. So I thought that I was ready for my first pageant because I decided to exercise rigorously.
Wait, I am so sorry to interrupt, but I really want to ask what these beauty pageants are like. Because I love what you're talking about, but I feel a little bit lost because I don't feel very familiar with what beauty pageants are like. And I'm sure, other people watching might feel confused about or might want to know what a beauty pageant is. Uh, you know, uh, yeah, if you just give us a little brief summary and then maybe take it on from there.
So, what is a modern pageant like is really essentially the question. Well, it depends on the system. And I am really excited for this upcoming system that I'm going to be competing with again. I competed with them last year, and I'm going to be competing with them again because they have the approach to pageantry that I was really looking forward to the most. I feel like this is the pageant I've been really searching for, because my own personal message, I feel, is in line with what that pageant is looking for. Um, and that the name of the pageant that I'll be competing with in November is Ms. World Universal. And so there's so much to talk about here. Okay. So a lot of people think that there's only like one pageant. And so the Miss USA pageant, people are like, okay, it's just Miss USA. That's what pageants are. It's just Miss USA or Miss America. And then people will use those interchangeably. But there's actually a difference, a big difference. So you can stop me if I'm going to rant and go on and on and on, but
Well,
there's a lot to unpack here.
well, I happen to know that there are many, many, many different pageants just because as somebody who grew up as a femme, I paid attention to that stuff. Like I watched I know that what's Tyra Banks's show? I know it's not the
America's Next
same.
Top Model.
Yes, I know that that's not the same as pageantry, but I watched that. I watched, pageants like, when I was a little kid, I watched little kids um involved in pageants, and I thought it was really interesting. But my parents, I didn't really grow up around pageants or people who participated in them or competed in them, so I never thought that I would be somebody who would be in them. But I just thought it was very interesting to watch all showing these women showing their skills and showing off these beautiful dresses and talking about what they're passionate about and how they want to change the world. I always thought that that was really interesting, so I definitely paid attention. But someone who grew up as like as a man, probably like Hiram, probably doesn't really know a whole lot about it, I'd imagine. And everybody knows Miss America and like Miss USA. Like those are, um, I feel like that everybody knows about those. But Hiram, were you under the impression that there was only like one or two pageants?
I was actually not sure what the situation was with beauty pageants. I have absolutely no experience or knowledge about them. I haven't been to one, haven't seen one. Look, I'm gonna be brutally honest. I don't think it's
Yeah, be
brutally
brutally
honest, but
honest.
Yeah.
being very honest with you, my knowledge of beauty pageants does not go beyond the very very terribly uh, produced show, that Honey Boo Boo show, where there's that child who's in beauty pageants. But
Oh
I
yeah.
just know about it. I didn't watch the show. I don't think I've watched any episodes from it. But that's the extent of my knowledge. It's from it being a meme, seeing clips, or just asking people what it meant, because at some point, it was like a really big deal. So yeah, being honest with you, I hadn't been exposed to it beyond that. Growing up where I grew up, it's just not part of like Mexican culture. I feel I don't know of it happening in Mexico as frequently. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are other parts of Mexico that I'm unfamiliar with. But at least in my family, beauty pageants were never a tradition or a thing, and even with friends too.
Yeah. Oh, I think that there's isn't there like Miss Mexico and things like that in
Oh
Canada?
yeah.
Those were, to me, those were the women who I looked up to. I was like, these women are beautiful, and they usually wore like more colorful dresses. And when I was little, I lived in LA where where Mexican culture was huge. So those Miss like Mexico and those gorgeous ladies were who I definitely looked up to when it came to like, being feminine, I guess. So, but I feel
Right.
like America is more focused on beauty in general, which isn't a bad thing. And we talked a little bit about this. Like beauty isn't just what's on the outside. Beauty,
America.
but in general, I
Oh, okay.
think that America focuses on beauty like compared to other countries. That's just my thought that I'm having right now. What do you think about that?
I don't know if I can answer that uh, fairly because I am an American, and so, and I mean, I have visited other countries, and I think that there are different beauty standards in many different countries. I I don't know. I don't know if
Yeah,
I
I mean
can give a fair. I
that's
don't
a
know if I
hard
can give
one.
a. Yeah, I don't know
Unless
if I
you've
can actually give a
been immersed
fair
in different cultures. Yeah,
assessment on that
that's
one.
just like the initial kind of thought that I had, but at that moment, but it might not be true. But that I do want to talk a little bit about that. Like we went to brunch the other day and we talked about uh, the different beauty standards and how maybe some judges they may judge mainly based on physical appearance, but I personally think that what is going on in the inside and like what you're passionate about and who you are as a person. I think that makes you more beautiful, and I think it shows eh, you can project that, and that's.
So, on that note,
Mhm.
actually, everyone who is really experienced or has some pageant experience knows that you win an interview. And that doesn't necessarily mean having the best interview, but it means having a good interview. You may not win an award for best interview, but I mean the judges have to like who you are. You have to be likable and
Mhm.
relatable
Okay.
if they're going to select you.
Mhm.
So that is something worth mentioning. I I will also mention that I think that I still watch the Miss USA and Miss Universe pageants, and they've really been changing the way that they do things. For example, you're really getting to know the contestants better on stage. They're doing a lot more talking, and it's not just the final answer. I I will mention, okay, so I would like to say that every system looks for something different. And I I want to mention that for example, Miss USA, they have a certain look I think that they go for. And it is also worth noting that that pageant is going to operate much differently than, for example, Miss America, because for one, Miss USA is a for-profit organization. Miss America is a nonprofit. It's actually a scholarship program. You win scholarship money.
Okay. So what are the different things that you've noticed that they look for in candidates for the two different you said programs is what you call them?
Well, the two different organizations. Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, I haven't competed in Miss America. I was too old to participate in that system, so I don't want to answer that directly because I did not compete on it. I compete in it. Um, I don't think that I can fairly answer that question.
Mhm.
I thought that I competed for Miss Montana USA, which in that system you have to win a state title before you go on to compete for Miss USA, right? And I thought that when I competed that I was happy with the winners that they chose. I will say that. I thought that those women definitely earned it. I got to know them. They worked very, very hard. And so I'm not going to say that, it was rigged against me, just because I'm trans. Like I think a lot of people were actually expecting me to say that when
Yeah.
that experience happened. A lot of people said that I was going to complain if I mean, maybe I complained in private because, of course you want to win, right?
Yeah, but you don't want to get the
Once I
haters what they
calmed down,
want.
I was just like, okay, it was fair, and uh, that they selected those particular winners. I will say that I don't know how the judges viewed me, but I personally do not view myself as somebody who passes as cisgender. I think that I am a non-passable trans woman. Did that play a factor? I don't know. But I am going to mention that it's not that I ever thought that my beauty was I'm aware of what it is that I look like. I'm aware of what it is that I
And
look
I,
like.
I
And
just want to say, and I'm not trying to like pander to the audience or anything, but you're passing to me. When I first met you, I didn't know that you were trans. But of course, we were kind of bundled up and everything too. And when we were live streaming the protests together, I had no idea until I went on your Twitch and saw the trans. I think you have like trans flag emojis or something. Like I can't remember exactly what it was, but so there's that. And then I saw your Instagram and I was like, wow, these are beautiful. And then I saw that you were talking about being transgender. So to me you're passing. um I think to some people I'm not even passing like as like a woman, because like when I was live streaming the protest, people thought I was transgender, and I think part of it was that there were, for some reason, a lot of there were a lot of transgender people who were activists during the movement and who were live streaming, and I think a big part of that is like, we want equity, like people who have been oppressed, as people are want to fight for other people to have the freedom and like equity and everything like that. So anywho, like people even thought that about me. So you know what I mean? But I think that you're passing. But and also I think a big part of that, like I said, is like who you are within like projects outwardly. And to me, you as a person are very feminine. Like you're like a woman on the inside, where I may look more I may look more like a feminine person than a masculine person, but I feel more like a man on the inside, but I don't know if that projects outwardly, you know what I mean? So
I I would like
anywho.
to touch on that and build off of what it is that you were saying, because it's important to my platform
Okay.
that I've had.
Hmm.
Well, let me first say, what pageantry means to me and what I've discovered within myself as I journey through the pageant world. I'm human, and I think, and a lot of people really hurt me when I first competed, because I surrounded myself, I guess, with positive people in my life that told me I was beautiful and that believed in me. And
Girl, you're gonna make me cry again. You made me cry. I was crying
you
twice. I
didn't
thought
cry at brunch. You didn't
no,
cry at
I
brunch.
did. When I have like a little tear in the corner, I consider that crying. So
Okay. Okay,
Hiram's
okay.
crying.
I didn't notice, but okay. So um I I really, before I medically transitioned, it was really important to me to find someone in my life, um I really wanted a romantic partner eventually
Sure.
that would find me beautiful. That was something that was very important to me. And as I transitioned, I definitely gravitated towards the queer community because I knew that, or at least I thought that they would be very accepting of me. And then people were just so supportive of me. And even when I didn't see it in myself,
Mhm.
people told me that I was beautiful. And I also want to mention that I now know, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself so that I can get to this point, because I haven't always felt this way, but I now know that I don't have to pass as cisgender in order to be beautiful. And that is something that I discovered through pageantry.
Mhm.
When I first competed, and I was weak and I read a lot of the comments about the articles that came out about me because I received a lot of publicity when I competed in a big pageant, which was Miss Montana USA. And I also want to say that I'm thankful for the Miss Universe organization for giving me the platform to voice myself. That I think that it would be fair to say that I have received more publicity than just about any other contestant who has not won a state title within that system.
Mhm.
I don't know if I can't think of anyone who has received more publicity. And so I'm really thankful that they gave me the opportunity to voice what was important to me.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of issues that were important to me, and I don't want to go into all of them, but I when people were saying really negative things to me, again, it hurt, but I had to truly learn that, passing doesn't matter. And people may find me ugly just because I don't pass, but they're wrong. And the reason that they're wrong is because I also truly believe that every person has beauty. And
Mhm.
I know that that sounds so cliche, especially coming from somebody who competes in pageants,
Mhm.
and beauty's in the eye of the beholder or
It's so true
whatever.
though. It's so true though. Like,
And but I honestly believe it because I just think that there's so much unique beauty in the world that it doesn't need to fit into these narrow molds that much of society says you have to fit into.
yeah. Well, I've
And
I've
I
dated some people, some men who people were like, "Man, that person is ugly as fuck." And I'm like, "Well, they are beautiful to me. I don't know what you're
right,
saying because I see something that's beautiful, and I think as long as of course you want your partner to think you're beautiful as well,
right,
but right now, who I am now, I just believe that as long as I think I'm beautiful and I don't care about the people who don't think I'm beautiful, that's all that matters, you know? Like I like to dress up and like, look cute. Obviously, I'm wearing a wig right now. I'm not going to try to hide that, but I do it because I like to look good. I think I look beautiful and I like to celebrate that. But not everybody agrees. But I think as long as you see yourself as beautiful, I think that's the most important thing.
I also really want to be very transparent. I I have had work done. I surgeries in my transition, and it was important to me. I really, so for example, when I first competed in Miss Montana USA, um, I that was before I had mandible contouring done. And after I competed, I decided to get mandible contouring. And that was because that was something that I really considered for a long time, prior to competing in pageants. But I was just I was scared. I mean, getting your face worked on, that was just, that was scary, So I had these big fears, and then I decided, okay, I'm going to actually do it. And so I don't want to say, I don't want, I mean, people are going to think what they want to think, but I want to be fully transparent and say that what I did in my transition and what I did for myself was for myself.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I don't think that there's when there are some people who hate on the fact that people get plastic surgery or get, this or that done, or, I've even had people comment on my fake nails and eyelashes, just from my personal experience, and it's like, this is your body. You can do whatever you want to it, what
Yeah.
with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And if that makes you feel good, I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. And fuck the people who say differently. But how did you feel after you had the surgery done? Did you personally feel more beautiful, or what was your initial, like, personal reaction to that?
I did actually. I'm actually very glad that I got mandible contouring done. I've had hair transplants, um, and I've had mandible contouring done. Um, I'll say that that's what I had for now. um, as far as um cosmetic surgeries, that's what I feel comfortable mentioning at this point. But yeah, so the hair transplants, I will say that I wasn't satisfied with. I had to have it done 3 times, because I initially got the first 2 um, hair grafting surgeries in Montana. And I just wanted the do what you will, people. If you live in Montana, if you want to get plastic surgery done, and they're your choice, I say don't get plastic surgery in Montana.
No
But the
offense
third time I got
to
it done,
people
then
who.
I was more satisfied. It was up here, so I'm happy now. I didn't like my hairline. There was a while when I tried to be like, yeah, I had this kind of botched hairline, but I tried to own it, but I decided that I didn't like it. But I am happy with the work that I did have done. I
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm satisfied.
Well, you look great.
Thank
So
you.
were you participating in pageants before you had these things done, for a while? And what was the difference that you felt, or I guess noticed, after that?
So I got my first hair transplant at I got my first hair transplant before I competed for Miss Montana USA the first time, and that was my first pageant. But then I got the mandible contouring after, and then I went in for a couple other rounds of hair transplants after that. Um, yeah, but I also wanted to mention that apart from that, uh, just because it relates to beauty and whatnot, I I worked very hard to lose weight because that's what I wanted. I wanted to live a healthier lifestyle. And I thought that if I was going to be a role model, that it's important to actually, walk the walk, not just talk the talk. And I changed my diet and worked out very hard. And because for a while I was like, well, maybe I don't want to do that because it takes effort. Okay. And then I had a change of heart, so that's why I decided to go that route. I think that anybody can be beautiful at any size, so I'm not saying I don't want people to think that I'm saying that you have to be a certain size in order to be beautiful at all. I just wanted to be healthier, and the way that I was living my life was not healthy. So I want to make that clear. Um, so then I also wanted to mention that the first time that I competed in a pageant, I mean, I did not do well. I didn't do well. Maybe I did well in the interview. Maybe. I like to think I did. But there's also the performance aspect. And my walk wasn't good. I'll be the first to admit it. My walk needed
And
work.
this was for Miss Montana.
Miss Montana USA.
Okay.
That's important to mention, because if you say Miss Montana, that implies Miss Montana with the America program, which is
Okay.
not the pageant that I
So
competed.
they're two separate things. Okay. See, I knew there were a lot of pageants, but I am not familiar with the names of them. So
That's okay.
Miss Montana USA, you said, or Miss America?
Yes, that is. I competed in that system twice.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually asked to come back to compete for Miss Montana USA a second time because I received so much publicity. And then there was talk of potentially doing oh God. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. Okay. There's talk of actually doing a reality TV show, and they wanted me to be a part of it. Okay, I've grown a lot. Okay. I
Hey, you told me
would
about
not do,
that.
I don't think I would do a reality TV show now. But okay. I did. I wanted to do that at the time. But that was an incentive for coming back that ended up not coming to fruition. And if you like reality TV, that's great, but I just don't want to do that for myself. Anyway, I think I did better that time when I did Miss Montana USA the second time. And then after that, I went on to compete in the Miss Earth organization in the elite division. And that was very exciting. I like that system because they try to promote environmentalism. That's one of their cores. And I also want to mention that there are 4 major pageants in the world, and they are the Miss Universe organization. There's Miss World, there is Miss Earth, and then there's Miss International. And so I was honored to compete in the Miss Earth organization in the elite division.
I just realized my mic was off when I tried to say that, but I said I didn't realize that there was a Miss Earth or Miss World. I thought, well, I guess Miss Universe is probably the biggest one, I'd imagine.
In the United States.
Okay, but
Miss
not in
World
the
is more
actual.
popular in Europe.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
So what are
That
the
reminds me. if we have time, I would love to
Okay,
revisit Miss World,
I
because
was I was
there's
about to
something
go
really
into a
information
whole
about
thing
that.
on Miss Universe, but let's stick to the topic. I was gonna say, like, what qualifies you for Miss Universe? Like, what if you lived on the moon, like a moon base? But let's get into that when we talk about aliens, okay? Hiram,
Well, let's first colonize that first, and then maybe we can revisit this discussion.
I mean, I'm not a colonizer. I am just happy wherever you put me. I'm not about to take over the moon right now. But yeah, I'm curious in the future to learn about,
Okay.
if there actually are people on the moon, if they can compete in Miss Universe. But that's a whole different topic. Hiram, do you have anything?
Uh, not that I think I could add to the conversation, but uh, well, we're absolutely at some point going to get sponsored by BuzzBalls, Carissa.
Yes,
What
yeah,
flavor do you
yeah.
have?
Actually, I wanted to, yeah,
First
I
of all,
really want to get sponsored by BuzzBalls. It's a women-owned company, and I've been trying everyone. This is the pineapple colada chiller.
Hashtag not sponsored
Not
yet.
yet, not yet. Hopefully they're watching. No,
yeah,
actually, BuzzBalls reposted one of my the story that I tagged them in. So we're on our way,
yeah,
babes.
heck yeah.
Anyway,
So,
back to the
um,
program.
back to the program. No, I really wanted to, first of all, thank you for sharing a lot of, I think, vulnerable stories and things about your career in beauty pageantry. I didn't know that it was so complicated. I mean, I thought it would be, right? I kind of had an impression that there would be large organizations behind pageantry, but having it explained by you, Anita, has really opened my eyes to, a very competitive world. And um, I just was wondering if you had any like tips, tricks, or maybe any like guidelines for somebody that wants to be in this kind of industry. Like, what if somebody wanted to be in beauty pageants and wanted to win? What would it take? Are there people that just aren't made for it? I don't know. Anything that you could share to somebody interested in starting to make sure that they're a good fit and that they could be successful.
Okay. Well, I would never say that some people just aren't made for it. That's not I would never say that. And if anybody says that to somebody, I take great issue with that. Um, I the tips that I would say is well, I just know that for me, I really needed to work on my walk. I really needed to do that. Work on your walk. Maybe you're lucky enough to naturally have a graceful walk.
Not
I
me.
was not one of them.
Not me.
I was not one of them. I know that. Okay, any haters out there listening, I know it. Okay. And I think I think I've got my walk down now. I hope. I actually got a pageant coach for this. That
Let's
might be
practice
I'm
together.
not, listen, I'm not a pageant coach. So I'm going to, I don't know if I should give anybody any tips. Um, and I'm not going to say to you something, I don't want to say like, just be yourself because it's so cliche. I hate saying it. I mean, I want to say it like, be your authentic self, but I feel like it just comes across as cliche, and I hate
Yeah,
cliches, even
I do too. I
like the
hate cliches too,
cliches.
but it's like if people keep saying it, then it must be true for a lot, not everything, but for a lot of things. And like I hate saying I really dislike saying normalize, but really I don't really know how else to put it when I'm talking about our show. I want to normalize talking about these topics that may make people feel uncomfortable or that they normally don't talk about on a daily basis. But and that's okay. Let's normalize it all. I just feel like I'm a broken record, you know. But
Yeah.
but yeah, when it comes to walking, my grandma even was like she saw I went to a fashion show and there was like a little runway, where you could take pictures. And I wasn't one of the models because I heard about it last minute, but I got to meet a lot of models, like the most like popular runway models in Portland, and like the most popular fashion designers in Portland. Like it was really cool. I didn't even realize I was a VIP until at the end of the event, but I at least got to hang out with them and hear their stories and everything, and walk this little red carpet runway with some of them, even though I wasn't like in the main fashion show. But my grandma saw some of those videos and she was like, "You need to work on your walk." And I was like, "Grandma, that was my first time, okay?" But I think for most people it doesn't come naturally, especially in high heels. Like that's a whole thing. But so okay, let's get back into it. Let's dive a little bit deeper. Did you have, as a trans woman, did you have any role models who were in pageantry who you could look up to and who could give you advice? Because I know that
No.
you were the first openly transgender uh, um, person to be, woman to be in Montana's, what is it called again?
Miss Montana,
Montana's
USA.
Miss Montana USA.
Mhm.
I need to study these to be like, I feel like
I know
it's
it's
common
okay. It's
knowledge to
okay.
you,
It's
but
like
it's
it's
hard to keep
really
all in order.
there's a lot of history to it actually. So when I competed, not really. There was Jenna Talikova, who was a huge influence in the pageant circuit. She was outed as transgender, and then she received a lot of publicity. She was interviewed by Barbara Walters. And this was back when Donald Trump used to own the Miss Universe organization. And he no longer does, by the way. A lot of people think that he still does own it. When I competed, he did not own it. But that was she was the only person that I knew about. There are transgender specific pageants, um, but I didn't seek those out. I necessarily I yeah I just I didn't. So there wasn't I didn't have any role models in terms of pageantry, and that was it. Also, that's another thing. Like I again, I don't think that I do pass. So I it was hard for me to find a transgender woman to relate to, because I thought, because the ones that I was aware of did pass. And so I mean, of course I could relate to them in a certain sense because, we're both trans women, but um not definitely no transgender women in pageantry that I looked up to as role models. I will say that Laverne Cox is a transgender woman that I actually met her once, and she's a role model of mine. And then the actress Christina Ricci is a huge role model of mine,
She's
in
so
part
hot.
because but that's because of what?
I said she is so hot. Have you all seen Sleepy Hollow? Oh my gosh. She's
Well,
amazing.
she's also a really big activist.
Yeah.
He is a celebrity spokesperson for RAINN, which is the Rape and Incest National Network, and it's the largest anti-sexual violence organization in the United States. Um,
I actually didn't know that, and that makes me love her even more, but I can just tell like her strength came through in her art, in her acting. Even
right.
in Casper when she was a teenager, I was like, this is
Oh, I
a
totally agree.
this
I
is a
totally agree.
powerful person right here. So,
I totally agree. And I mean, I found a lot of role models in different ways. Yeah.
so was she into pageantry as well, or she was just like a
Christina
general?
Ricci.
Yeah.
No, no. That's also, but that you actually kind of bring up an important point. So that I wanted to mention, and that is that it's important to recognize why pageantry was created. And pageantry was originally created for a minority demographic, and that minority demographic was women. And I think that pageantry has done an excellent job of elevating the voices of women, which is why I compete. And I'm mentioning that because I have faced criticism for competing in pageantry. And people have said, well, you are trying to conform to a narrow beauty standard. And I don't even fit into that narrow beauty standard. At least I don't think I do. Um, and that was not the message that I was trying to convey to people
Hmm.
at all. And so that's something that's worth mentioning. And you know, pageantry has really elevated the careers of many women. If
Hmm.
you look at Halle Berry, for example, she actually was the first runner-up to a Miss USA winner. It can really elevate your career. If you look at the former CEO of It Cosmetics, she was the Miss Washington USA. It can provide you with a lot of networking opportunities.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. So Hiram, if you don't have another question, I always have a million, but you can
Go
go.
ahead. Go ahead.
You can go next. I was going to
No
ask
worries.
what I guess what originally why you talked a little bit about this, but what makes you passionate about pageantry? Is it more so that it has always been something that you are really interested in wanting to do, or is a big part of it mainly to pave the way for other transgender women, or is that just are they all kind of part of the puzzle?
All of that, definitely. So, like I said, my my first inspiration for pageantry was my sister. Um, Sadly, we aren't close, and I don't think she'll ever know it. And because in part because I haven't seen her in years, but she was my first inspiration for pageantry. I saw her speak on stage. She competed in a pageant years ago, and she was really able to speak a lot on stage. That pageant gave women more time to speak on stage, and I was so impressed hearing how articulate and eloquent she was, especially on stage. Because I mean, of course, you know, me being her younger sibling, like I didn't see that. um, but she was my first inspiration for pageantry. And and there, you know, we have a long way to go in terms of still elevating the voices of women and minority people in general. Um, and pageantry, I think, really does an excellent job of that. Um, and I didn't find anybody, I didn't know of anybody growing up that I could truly relate to. And so I wanted to kind of be that uh, since I didn't know of a non-passable uh, trans woman I could really look up to. I wanted to help be that. And even after Laverne Cox came into the spotlight, I mean, I want there to be a lot of um, you know, non-passable trans women. And I say that, by the way, I also want to mention that I really look up to her because in part because I view her as a non-passable trans woman, as some people view her as passable. I also want to mention I don't see that as a bad thing. In the trans culture, a lot of people take offense to not passing. And I don't say that as a negative at all, because what I'm trying to tell you is that there's nothing wrong with that. And you are beautiful, even if you don't pass. Maybe even especially because you don't pass.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, not everybody knows this. I mean, I've talked about it a lot. Like, I feel like when a person is queer, like part of the job is to talk about it a lot, not just for attention, but to 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 normalize it and like
You
to show
normalizer.
yeah I'm just like a normalizer but I hope that other people who are similar to me will come out and be their true selves. There's this his name is slipping my mind right now, but he's my he's one of the most beautiful Portland runway models, and I don't know if I would say they're traditionally beautiful. He, they, she, they go by all pronouns. I'll send you their link. They're, like I said, the name is slipping my mind right now, but I've seen them at fashion shows and like other events like that. And sometimes they wear eyelashes and like wigs, and then other times they're very masculine and they have huge muscles, and either way, they're beautiful. And I just really appreciate them being a part of the community because like, to me, a big part of why I, came out as non-binary is because I don't think that, I think that all genders are beautiful. I think that no gender is beautiful as well. Like, I don't think that you need to be hyper feminine or hyper masculine to be beautiful. Like, it's just how you carry yourself, your confidence, your passions, and of course, looks count a little bit too. But I think, you know, with the right outfit, that doesn't, anybody can be physically beautiful too. That's just me though. What do you think, Hiram?
Uh, I, I, man, I think so many things.
What are you thinking right now, Hiram?
You know, there, I would never finish if I told you everything I think. But overall, I think we have a lot of concurrent ideas. And one thing that you guys are talking about is self love and self acceptance. I have a question though, uh, regarding that. I know, and I talked to a lot of folks who just don't think they are beautiful by their own standards. And they have this understanding that, like, everybody has different standards, and they know that, like, other people think they're beautiful, but they just think they have their own standards for beauty, at least they think they do, and they feel like they don't meet them. And so they live this perpetual life of being upset because they don't meet their supposed own standards for beauty. And as much as I try to tell people, hey, you're beautiful, whatever, I mean, obviously, everybody knows that, like, anything, you can't just tell people, oh, well, did you think about stop thinking it? Like, did you think about not thinking that way? And obviously, it's not how it works, right? People have very complex and valid emotions and perspectives that need to be discussed and hashed out, or maybe they don't. I mean, see, that's kind of why I bring that up, because what do you tell somebody in that situation? Does that come up often in beauty pageants? What do you know about what's going on in these people's minds when they just can't see themselves as beautiful by their own standards?
So going back to when I competed for Miss Montana USA, when I had a lot of people making fun of me because of the way that I look, they said things like, you look like a man and you don't pass, you're ugly. And it hurt at the time, but then I was just like, okay, you know what? Maybe I am. Maybe I do. Look in your mind like a man. Maybe that's what you think it looks like. Maybe that's what you think a man looks like. Maybe I don't pass. Maybe I am ugly. I kind of decided that I was either going to let it completely crush me, or I was just going to own it and let me define myself. And I say that this is what a woman looks like. This is what femininity looks like. I get to create my definitions for myself, and I get to decide what I think is beautiful. And I think I'm beautiful. I know I'm beautiful. And if you disagree with it, I just say, well, it's okay to be wrong. Carissa, you're muted.
Almost like I feel like every like half hour that I talk to you, I almost start crying. Not because I'm sad, but because I'm just like I love what you have to say and it really hits home, and I just really appreciate that you're just so comfortable being yourself and that you're working on promoting that to other people. And my answer to Hiram's question is since this is a conversation, and I thought I was ugly most of my life. Most people said I was beautiful. People are like, "Oh, you're hot," but I only listened to the like 5% of people who were like, "You have a big nose, like your eyes are so far apart," or all these little comments. Like those are the things that you remember. And I think as soon as you like, it took me until very recently to realize that it doesn't matter what those people say. Like, of course, you want to be validated, of course, like everybody, like that's part of life. That's what makes you human. But also, there's a point where you're like, I think I'm beautiful, and I don't really give a fuck about these people who I don't know, like what they have to say. And you're like, you see yourself for who you really are. You see all of your flaws. You just see your physical self for who you are. You know that this is what you look like, and yeah, you can change things if you want to, and that's okay too. But really, like I said before, I think what makes somebody really beautiful is when they're confident in whoever they are, whatever they look like. If they're 200 pounds, if they're 100 pounds, if they look more masculine and feminine. For me, it's like the confidence in knowing that this is what I look like. I know that I'm self-aware, like that's super sexy, being self-aware, and also confidence and self-respect, like those things. And there have been people where I'm like, man, if they didn't have those qualities, I would probably think that they were ugly physically. But the fact that they're like, I know that I'm hot, I know that I have that, my lips aren't full or whatever, but I still know that I'm beautiful. Like that in itself makes these people beautiful. So, and I think that's a great message to send people, because
I
like
also
what's the life is too short to worry about, you know, everybody thinking you're beautiful and like worrying about being ugly, I think. That's just
I
me.
also want to mention that I there is there is a line that, is it a thin line, a fine line between arrogance and confidence? I don't know. I guess I won't answer that for others. Arrogance is unattractive to me. And so when somebody says, "Oh, I'm hot and I know it," as in they are better than someone else because of the way that they look, I don't like that. Um,
Yeah.
I like I like when somebody just owns their beauty and says, yes, I'm beautiful.
Hmm.
And then
You probably wouldn't like me then. No, Hiram says that I'm the most, what do you say? Like I'm the most pompous, humble person that you've met. And I'm like, I finally told him like I just didn't have self-respect or like didn't think I was pretty for the longest time, and now I'm just like, I know I look good. Like I don't care if you think I look good, but like I am a little arrogant about it. And it's not because I think I'm better than anybody else, but it's basically like I don't give a fuck what you think because I know I look good to me at least, and I
but
hope
but
I
to
hope that
me,
everybody feels like that at some
that's
point.
what I think too. But
Yeah.
to me, that's not, to me, that's just that I don't, that's just confidence.
Mhm.
I don't think
Hmm.
to me, that's not arrogant.
Mhm. But you mean that idea where or like that and I know what you mean too. Like I have been hit on by very physically attractive people, like men who are super buff and tall, whatever, whatever. But they knew that they were hot and they had this air about them where they thought that they were better than everybody else. Like you could just tell, and
Yeah.
that's not hot. I know what you mean. I get what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and
Yeah.
I've hung out with Carissa a few times. Um, no, yeah, no, you don't come across that way. And for what it's worth, I do like you as a friend. I do. I know who you are.
Well, no, I meant like romantically. I was like you would not, but yeah. So um anyway, we're almost at an hour, and I want to hear maybe one last thing about your experience being a openly trans woman in pageantry. Do you have any kind of last things that you really have been wanting to talk about?
Sure. Well, and by the way, if you do want to go longer, we can go longer. I don't know if it's you're saying that just because to be respectful of my time, but I just want you to let you know, and maybe I should have said this before we went live, but I can spend more time here. I cut out my evening. I freed up my evening to just be here.
Okay. Yeah,
But it's up
I
to you.
mean, I could literally interview people for like 3 hours at a time, especially if I find them interesting. And I feel like we haven't uh, really, I feel like we've only kind of just started diving into
I feel like that too.
hearing your story. Uh, but yeah, like even on my other show, Off the Cuff, which is my music show, shout out Off the Cuff. I wish that I had like a couple more hours to talk to people because I'm really interested in hearing people's life stories and like because everybody, we're so similar in a lot of ways. Like everybody goes through the same shit, but at the same time, everybody's story is so unique, and that's my favorite thing about journalism and interviewing people. So yeah, I don't know. Hiram like gets off work and he's super tired because he has like a million jobs like me, but I am definitely open to going for a little bit longer. So um,
Okay.
yeah,
Sure.
maybe if you can tell us something that you've really been wanting to talk about uh, in regards to the topic.
Well, you mentioned, how what has my experience been like as a trans woman, the trans aspect. Okay. Um,
I felt really weird about, I always feel like weird about posting that kind of stuff because I want to just say like your experience as a woman in pageantry, but at the same time, I think your story has more depth because um, you like people who uh, are part of oppressed communities, women, queer people, I think their story it goes a little bit deeper. So I think, and I think, trans people and other queer people would rather hear your story and because they, we want to find people to relate to. We all want
mhm.
to be able to relate to people in general. So I just felt like putting that, like my trans friends would see that and want
Right.
to watch it. So,
Oh,
but I always feel weird
I
about it. I always
totally
feel
get
weird
it.
about
But
it. Yeah.
sometimes I feel like it could be like that maybe to some people, it's like, oh, That's Anita. She's trans, by the way. She's trans.
Yeah, like that's
Yeah,
you
she's
you
trans.
don't want it to be your whole
She's trans.
identity.
That's all she is. She's
Yeah, no.
trans.
No,
But
definitely.
so like, and even when I'm talking about that myself, it's just like I feel like I can even convey that, like, I'm trans.
Yeah,
But I want, yes,
it
yes.
seems like from what I know of you, I like we're not, we haven't hung out a million times or anything, but we have hung out, we have spent time together, and to me, you on like I said before, like your spirit is more is very feminine. So that's how I see you, and you don't even need to say that. And same with me, like I am very at times very masculine. Like I have very masculine traits, but I also like to dress very feminine, and sometimes I am very, have very feminine traits or whatever. So I don't feel like I even need to say, "Hey, guess what, guys? I'm non-binary." But I think talking about it does help other people who may feel the same way, who may want to come out in the future. So it's
Right,
like it's
right.
like it's a form of activism, really,
Mm,
being
sure.
our being loud about who we really are, even though sometimes it feels like we're just preaching to the choir, or just like speaking on deaf ears, or speaking on people who don't really want to hear about it, because I feel like a lot of my audience are not all of it, but a certain chunk of my audience are men who think I'm attractive, who are very cis and maybe are, old fashioned, who don't like to hear that. Every time and like when I post about being non binary, they're like, okay, they try to ignore it, and they're like, all right, well, let's get past this. And then, like your story is tomorrow, or, like that's the vibe that I get. So yeah, I think it's important for queer people to be loud. I think that's, for me, that's my responsibility as a queer person, like gender queer and queer romantically or whatever, is to talk about it, even though, yeah, it can be embarrassing sometimes, and it can make myself or make other people feel uncomfortable. But for me, and not everybody, but I feel like it's my responsibility. And I really appreciate that you are loud about the fact that you are transgender, because like I said, I didn't know that you were transgender until I, saw the transgender flags, which I didn't even know what the transgender flag looked like until very recently. Like Portland opened my eyes, and like the funny thing about it is, like, I remember my dad saying, like, you're going to Portland, are you going to like stop shaving your armpits and like turn non-binary or whatever? And I'm just like, I don't know, maybe. So I don't know, like Portland's very
Oh, that's
Portland
great.
people, Portland culture is very accepting, and that is one of the reasons why I love it here. Anyhow, back to your story.
Okay, back to my favorite topic, which is me. No. Okay, so as a trans woman, the contestants have been pretty accepting of me. There haven't been any contestants that said anything to me um indicating that they weren't accepting of me um as a woman. They had no problem with me competing alongside them. That was really wonderful. I think that a lot of people have a stereotype about pageantry that, it's very catty, and that has not been my experience. It really hasn't. And people have said, well, they're like, well, and maybe this is just trolls being trolls. And people have said, well, that's because you're not a threat. And because they're like, well, you didn't have a chance anyway. So, that's why you didn't experience that. But I don't, I genuinely don't think that that was the case. Like I was really happy for the Miss Montana USA when I first competed. Her name's Danny Walker. And she, by the way, if people want tips, that's a great place to go. She has a YouTube channel very dedicated to pageantry. That's her life. And I was very happy for her, and I didn't think she was catty. And then the next winner, I liked her as well. And then the so we'll start. I'll stop there for now. So I had no problem with the contestants. I felt like the judges, and this may have just been how I felt, it may not have been the reality, but I felt like when I first competed, the judges looked negatively upon me, in part because I was trans, because, it was so out there. And because, again, I don't think I pass, that maybe they thought so too. And that because of that, I wasn't really even worthy of being there, even as a contestant. Again, I didn't do well. I'm not saying that, but it was when I was in the interview room that I felt unwelcomed by some of the judges. I'm not going to say all of them. That was how I felt. The next year, I felt better. I also probably felt more confident. That could have played a role. How did the judges view me in terms of being trans? It's hard for me to say. I've thought about that. Did that play a factor at all? I mean, I actually was asked in the interview, they said, well, if we select you, you would be the first openly trans woman to win a state title.
Mm-hmm.
Because this was before, by the way, Cataluna Enriquez, who won, who's the first openly transgender woman to win a state title within the Miss USA system. This was before she won.
Mm-hmm.
And so they asked me that question, and they basically said, can you take the heat? And I said, I thought that I could. Maybe they didn't think that I was the right person for that. And I honestly, I gotta say, I'm really glad that it wasn't me. I'm really glad that Cataluna Enriquez had that honor. I'm very happy for her. I think she was very graceful. I thought that she held herself very well. And I commend her for being so brave to take all of that publicity and just handle herself so well. I'm very happy for her. When I competed in the Miss Earth organization, afterwards, I wanted to do better. I'm gonna also admit that I could have prepped more for that one, but I didn't.
Yeah. So are you talking about this is the second pageant that you've done?
Third. So Miss Montana USA, I competed twice. So,
Okay.
and then the Miss Earth organization and the elite division, that one happened. And then I won. I was really happy because I won an award in that one, and that was best evening gown for a non-finalist. Sadly, I didn't make it into the semifinals, but I was really happy, and I was just like, you know what, I earned that.
Yeah.
Because it was flattering to me, because I was just like,
wins. That's a big win.
thank you. I was like, this is a good gown. I know it is. I know it is.
Yeah, it's like one of the very first pageants you did, and you won something. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
And not every system does that. And people might say to me, well, that was just a pity award. And I was just like, no, it wasn't. I've got a good sense of style.
Mm-hmm.
And this was validated, okay? um I earned it.
I have an
And
award for it. I have like a physical thing that says says
yeah.
that.
Yes, you know what? Yeah. If I was, okay, I didn't even think about it, but I wish that no, that would have been too dorky and too like cringy. Oh my God, if I just had by the way, I just keep it here on my desk. Uh,
You have it behind you on the wall.
yeah.
That would be okay. I mean,
Um,
I love people promoting themselves,
oh, why,
because
I figured you like to promote yourself. Well, thank you.
yeah, I think that everybody should promote themselves
Yeah,
on social media and everything,
sure.
and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If I won best dress, I'd probably have a plaque up. Because
Yeah,
if we're not going to be cheerleaders for ourselves, who will? Like, are we
sure, sure.
people
That's,
pay
I like that
people
attitude. That's it.
people
That's a really great attitude.
people pay for other people to do that. Like, is it better
Yes.
to promote yourself and be proud of yourself and showcase your wins, or is it better to pay somebody to do it and it's less genuine? Of course, it's nice too, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with that personally.
That's fine. Yeah,
Hi, Hiram.
that's great. I agree with you. Um, well,
Hello.
I was also going to say that I don't think that I genuinely don't think that me being trans played a factor in uh, the Elite Miss Earth um pageant that I did. And I did get feedback after, and because I wasn't exercising, for example, and I was just I wanted honest feedback. I was just like, and so I asked one of the judges. I said, well, I was like, I hope that you can be honest with me. And I said, I'm looking for feedback so I can do better. I said, did you think that I said, but did my weight play a role? And um then she said to me, well, I think that we could all lose a little bit of weight. And but at the end of the day, it's a beauty pageant. So I kind of interpreted that as like, yeah, you were too fat. And I wish that it was like, your weight doesn't matter. Um, but I wanted to know like what it was that like I could have really done better. Like, was it really that? Or was it something else? But that kind of said to me like maybe my weight did play a role. And that was a little disheartening. But then actually I was discovered by the Ms. World Universal pageant, and they reached out to me and they invited me to compete in their pageant. And I'm very honored to be competing with them because they don't care about your weight at all. And they size, weight, height does not play a factor. They don't care if you are cisgender or transgender. It I think that this is the pageant that I've really been looking for a very long time. They have pillars that I truly believe in, and their pillars are diversity, inclusion, philanthropy, and belonging. That's something that really resonates with me. And I mean, and I'm honestly not just saying this in the off chance that like, they see this, but I really believe in it. And this is something that I truly like. I mean, I liked the Miss I don't get me wrong, like that I there were certainly aspects in the other pageants that I competed in. Um I liked that. There are definitely things about Miss USA and the Miss Universe organization that I definitely really liked. Um And then the Miss Earth organization, they're wonderful things that I really like about them. For example, I mean, they really promote environmentalism. But I think that this pageant is best for me. This particular pageant that I'm competing in is for me. And I think that maybe that is something worth noting, that not every pageant is going to be for every person. That's something that I've discovered along the
Yeah,
way of my pageant journey.
definitely. That makes sense. And I do want to say I have watched pageants, and I get the feeling that a lot of them are just saying that they care about world peace and uh, figuring out like global hunger and all that stuff. Like it doesn't feel real. But when you say it, I know it's true because I've seen you in action and I've seen you passionate. I haven't seen you at an actual pageant, but I know that you were genuine about caring about these topics. Um,
Well, I I would love this
not
opportunity.
not saying that the none of the other people who compete do, but I have watched pageants and I'm like, those people don't care about the environment. Like you could just tell they're just like, I care about the environment, and I'm like, no, you don't,
Sure.
not
No,
really.
you know what, and that's valid. I think that that's valid. And I was actually going to mention that segues into what I was going to say, and that I also really like this organization because they don't require you to have a platform. Some pageants require you to have a platform. And I think that that's kind of what you're getting at. Like people say that they have this platform that they believe in, but it's just so disingenuous. It's like, okay, come on, like you're just here to compete in a pageant. Like you don't care about the platform. Um, but that's what's so wonderful about this is Ms. World Universal doesn't require you to have a platform. I actually do have a platform because it's something that is so personal, deeply personal to me. I had one last year, and that was I was trying to promote that, um, my platform was every person has beauty. And the reason that I chose that platform was because I was trying to convey that you don't have to pass in order to be beautiful. But I felt like that was very specific to my demographic. And I still believe in that message. I just wanted to have a platform that I think more people can relate to, and actually everyone I think can probably relate to. And so I was really hesitant to choose it initially, but I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. And I my platform is promoting anti-sexual harassment. I am really passionate about specifically RAIN, uh, which again is the Rape and Ancestral Network. I actually originally found out about that before I knew about that organization. I knew who Christina Ricci was, and then because she's a celebrity spokesperson, and I found out about this when I was a kid, that she was a celebrity spokesperson for this organization. And I am a survivor myself. And so this is deeply personal to me. I think that I was the reason I was kind of hesitant to pick this platform was because I think that sometimes it can be intense to talk about, but it's also important to talk about. And that's why I decided to just really go with it. And I really want to continue these important discussions, as hard as they may be. And I think that it can be argued that everyone has been affected by sexual harassment in some way. Even if it didn't directly happen to you, chances are you know someone who was. even if they didn't tell you. And I think that it really affects our society on on a grand scale that is can sometimes even be hard to wrap our mind around.
Yeah, definitely. It's just so widespread, and I think, people get away with it. These abusers get away with it because people don't like to talk about it. But like with the Me Too movement happening a few years back, I think that really helped people to be more vocal about these things that were happening to them. And I think the abusers, aggressors didn't feel as comfortable doing these things out in the open. So I think that that movement was great. And not everybody would agree with me. Like some people were canceled and they feel like they were canceled for not a good reason. But yeah, I think that's a great platform. But I also think that the Everybody is Beautiful platform is I think that's for everybody too. I think that's very important. We've talked about that a lot on this episode already. Um, I think everybody should feel beautiful in their own right, and I don't think that only applies to trans people or people in the queer community.
Well, even though I genuinely believe in that platform, it just, I think it can get lost on a lot of years. Like it can, because it can become so cliche, especially in a pageant. Um,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, and so
Hmm.
that's kind of why I wanted to talk about something else that has greatly affected my life. Yeah, I'll
All
say
right.
that for now.
Yeah. So we are almost at a half hour or hour and a half. We usually only go a half hour, but it's been like I said when we were at an hour, I was thinking that we only touched on the topic that we wanted to talk about. But I want to wrap it up, and maybe we can get on you can be on another episode in the future. We actually, I was looking back, and we have less than 20 episodes out. We've been doing this for a while, but we took a little hiatus. So, yeah. Anyway, Hiram, do you have any last questions or last things you want to talk about?
Uh, no. This was very informative
Your
though, and
voice
I
is
really
super loud, by the way.
appreciate. This is really informative, and I really appreciate Anita, coming on and talking to us about a lot of these different topics. Am I frozen? I'm frozen, huh? On
Your
screen.
voice is definitely not matching up with what you're saying. That's for sure.
Yeah. Let me do that. So yeah, no. I mean, I really have to thank Anita for you know everything and for all the information. Uh, I don't have any questions, but I want to share something. I just can't. I can't figure it out. I'm sorry. I was kind of absent for a little bit because I was trying some new super cool things. I thought, but they're not super cool, and
I thought that
technology failed me.
I
So
thought it looked cool, but
wait, you thought what looked cool?
the I'm Hiram Live or whatever you had up.
Oh, True High, the watermark. No, no, no. See, what I really want to show you guys is this. Let me see. I think I got it. Give me a sec. But you can continue, actually. Carissa, do you have any questions?
So,
Anything
oh yeah,
you want to
you
add?
already know, but
Uh,
so I guess, what are you currently working on? What are you currently promoting? What are you um things that you can talk about anyway? You have something big that we are not going to talk about, but that we talked about that you're probably focusing on. But when it comes to pageantry, is there something that you're looking forward to, like pageant wise, or something new that's happening in your life in that realm?
I am just again, I'm competing for a pageant in November, and I've actually been really prepping for this. I've been really working hard, and
sorry about that.
I will mention that I do have a Facebook page, and
Anita Noel Green.
my title is Ms. Pacific Coast,
Oh,
World Universal, and it's definitely small right now. I wasn't really promoting that a whole lot. People are welcome to watch it live. Unfortunately, it does cost some money to watch it live. It's $35. Um, but if you're interested, I can give people the promo code for that if they um, each contestant has a promo code, and mine is MSPCWUP, and so that's
MSPCWWP, you said?
MSPCWUP, and that's basically because Ms. Pacific Coast, and then World Universal Productions is the name of the technical name of the pageant. It's Ms. World Universal with World Universal Productions.
Okay, great. Thank you for that.
And
And
I've mostly dedicated it to my platform, which is talking about ending sexual harassment,
Hiram
or at
screen
least
sharing.
reducing it.
Hiram, what are you doing? He's screen sharing. Hang on, and it's making the picture look weird. Hiram, what are you doing? Can you see that? Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh, it's the technology that he
Oh,
was
he has a
talking about.
drone. He has a drone.
Okay,
Okay.
technology.
I thought that was a fake background. I was like, well, that's a really nice view. Is that my bedroom window? No, I'm kidding. Oh man, that would be.
There we go. I'm so sorry. Okay. So I got confused. I didn't know even how that happened. I tried to like do it more discreetly, like through my camera, but I guess not. I was gonna try to do some live drone stuff through Zoom if I could. I think I can, but
It's
this is not
happening.
live.
Oh, it's not live.
No, this isn't live, but it could be. I did do this while we were live, so this was like maybe 15 minutes ago.
Okay. I was wondering what you're doing on your phone. I'm like, is he playing a game?
No, no, I was listening. I was just trying to get the drone live
Well,
on my
that's a pretty
end.
view. You're doxing
Yeah.
yourself though. People are gonna know where you're at.
For real though,
But it's
huh?
not live,
True.
so anyway.
All right. I have stopped
That was
and I'm
cool.
back.
That was a treat.
Yeah, I wish I could have just done it without taking over the whole screen, you know.
Oh, it was the view that I had it on too. That's part of it. But
Mm.
anyway, so that's what you got going on. Anita, is there anything that you would like to tell other trans people who would like to compete in pageants who may not have the confidence or may not feel like they have role models or um, that sort of thing? Those sort of people who you didn't have, and you're very strong for. I don't like when people say, "Wow, that was so brave of you," but so I keep stopping myself from saying that. But you're a very strong woman, doing that without having a lot of people pave the way for you. So I applaud you, and I think you're an amazing person for that, and in general. But do you have anything to tell younger people or even people who are just starting in pageantry,
Thank
who are
you.
queer or transgender?
Okay. Well, thank you for those kind words. Um, is it too cheesy to end on a quote?
No.
I
We can, you know what? Let's just get as cheesy as possible and let's normalize it. Let's keep
okay.
normalizing
Well,
using cliches because people love that. They'll eat it up. Anyway.
so I I really like a quote that Eleanor Roosevelt said. And she once said, one of my favorite quotes, and that is, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." And
I just posted that in my story a couple days ago. That's so funny. Out of all the quotes. Keep going.
I love it. I
I
love
do
it.
too.
So that's what I want to say. Oh, it's so cliche and cheesy.
No, not a
Uh,
lot of people have heard that quote or seen that quote.
well,
It's a good one.
well, the quote's very beautiful. I think. But what I'm about to say might like just come across as cheesy when I say, uh, just believe in yourself and go out, go out there and try to do it. I mean, sure, it's scary, but sometimes it's really worth it, and
Mhm.
it's okay to make mistakes along the way. I have definitely made a lot of mistakes, and I have even made some mistakes publicly. I've definitely said some silly things. Probably have said some silly things in this interview. Um,
That's because you're a human. That's
yes,
everybody has. Everybody has.
exactly.
How else are we going to
And
learn? Uh,
that's what I want. That's what I wanted to kind of end on.
yeah, and one of the things that I like to talk about is, or one of the things that I like to live by. Hang on, the values that I like to live by. There's Hiram again. Is that I don't even know if it's a value, but it's just like when something is scary to me, and it doesn't give me a bad gut feeling, that's when I know that I should just go for it. Like I just take the leap. It's scary, but whenever I do it and I follow through with it, even though there could be like scrutiny along the way, once I get past that, I always feel so much better, and you grow from that. So
Can I say one thing? Because it's like been driving me crazy.
yeah.
I'm gonna like hate myself if I don't like at least try to say that. Because the silly thing that I know I said earlier was like, okay, so like when you said anti-colonizer, maybe nobody even cares. Okay, I totally agree with you. And
You're
I'm like, and
colonizing
we
the
were talking about the
moon. No.
moon, but like I still don't care. I'm like, okay. And it was driving me crazy. I was like, okay, no colonizing, but I mean, I think it would still be cool to like
Well,
live on.
I actually wanted to say something about that too. Yeah, it would be fine to colonize the moon if there wasn't already life forms there
Yes.
inhabiting it
Okay.
and
Yes.
we had to
Okay.
take it
But it was
over.
just
Like
like,
if it's just
okay.
like this empty space that we can colonize for the first time, that's a lot different than
That's what I was thinking too. But then when
white
you said that,
people
and then you were
coming.
like kind of like
No, no, no.
joking, but I was like, maybe
No,
there's some.
but I was thinking like that's a lot different than white people coming to what is now the
Yeah.
Americas and colonizing and
I totally
pushing
agree,
out
and that's what I'm
indigenous
getting
people.
at.
It's a lot different. Like if there's aliens on the moon, leave them there. Like we don't have
Yeah.
to colonize it.
Yeah.
But thank you for bringing that back up. All right, Hiram, do you have any last words or sweet nothings? Are you even there?
Do I have any last
Or
words?
sweet nothings?
Am
Yeah,
I
this
gonna
is the
die?
last day, your last day on Earth. We're sending you to the moon. So what are your last words?
Uh, gosh, I sure hope they have ramen at in the moon because
You
I'm
guys are
craving
so
ramen.
like the universe is just like, when there's just things that are said that just make you feel like you're on the right track in the universe. You two
Yeah.
people, like when you said that quote, which is like one of the only quotes that I've posted in a while on my like social media, and then Hiram saying that he wants to get ramen. Like I'm about to go get ramen, so I don't know, the universe is lining up for me. Hiram doesn't believe in that shit, but I do. All right. Well,
No way. You're getting ramen at the
yeah,
moment
I
or
haven't had a
later?
real meal today, so I am going to
Yeah.
Safeway to go get ingredients for some ramen because
Look, check this out. I'm gonna do this once. As a treat, I guess. Everybody can see my
Okay.
cell phone now,
All right. Well, hopefully you
right?
don't have any pornography on there. If you do, that's okay. We can normalize that too. Everybody watches it, you know. It's
So now, this is actually live, but
is
thankfully I
that
don't
where
have
is that
anything like
your
that.
house? Where are you?
This is not my
I was
house,
gonna say that's
but
pretty fancy. Are you at a hotel?
no, I'm at a friend's house,
Wow, that's fancy. Okay.
downtown.
And very clean too. It's very clean.
Yeah, look, we're right
It looks
downtown.
fake. That's
This
the
is
max altitude.
Austin.
Sorry.
Oh,
That is a
oh,
UT
here's
tower.
Hiram going to the moon.
He's on his
True.
way.
So that's called the UT Tower. That's
See,
all of
see,
downtown
when you tune
Austin
into
right
our
there.
show, you get little treats from Anita for her next pageant, and then also you get little treats from Hiram.
Yeah,
And
I really need to get good at this drone stuff because I want to start doing it more frequently and professionally. It is a little bit tough.
well, we should make a music video.
I know, right?
That looks so fake, doesn't it?
That's me right there. Look,
That looks
right
so
there.
weird, dude.
That is me right there. That is live. That is actually, look, I'm gonna face and wave,
That's
and
bizarre. I can't deal with this
it's
technology. I'm a elder millennial. I can't handle this shit.
I know, right? This is really crazy. It's now like I can go
Spotify is too
live.
much for me, okay?
That's hilarious. All right, well, it was a pleasure, guys. I hope you all have a great one.
Do you like a little 360 spin real quick?
Oh, 360 spin? Yeah, I got you.
All right, Hiram's
Three,
going to the moon.
one.
It was good knowing you, Hiram. Hopefully you have
Thank
cell
you.
service up there.
I don't think I will, but
We should do this
and
at
I
the
don't think
end
I'll
of
be
all of our shows, and you should go to a different location each time.
a live aerial view of this someplace in
Yeah.
Austin.
Hmm.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Actually, just
Or
dox myself for a
so
weekend.
okay. Well, so one secret that we're letting out of the bag is that usually don't like to talk about projects before they're actually happening. But for the
Yeah.
people who are still watching, which is probably just two people, are there? Oh, there's a few still. Okay. We are planning on doing our show, but in different locations. And we want to go to like Puerto Rico and talk to the people about what's happening with their political climate and everything. And that's just one example. And we want to talk about the clean water crisis that's happening in the U.S. We want to go to places where that's happening and kind of put a spotlight on that and interview people. So, if anybody has any ideas of places to travel to, that is something that is that's in the works for us. We need to figure out how to raise funds. So, if you have any ideas for that grant wise or whatever sponsorship, let us know because I think that would be not only fun for us but also educational and something that a few people are doing, but there's not a whole lot of that out there. So, traveling journalism that's not in a war zone. um, and independent journalism as well, which I think is very important because we're pushing the agenda of the people and not pushing like any rich people or government agenda. We're just showing the world as it really is, and I think that that's important, and that's something that all three of us do. So great job, us. Anita, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, if there is really, there's a pageant movie that I saw that I enjoyed watching, and it's called Misbehavior,
Hmm.
and that's actually based on a true event in which Bob Hope was uh, emceeing the show, and there were some people there who were against pageants, and then it also really showed the perspective of the woman who won, who was um, Miss World's first Black woman to win, and that was just so historic. And so it also showed her perspective as well and what she had to say. And I just really, I really loved that. I thought that was very powerful because there was something I could relate to, because like some people have criticized me again for competing in pageants, but I had my own reasons for doing it that I thought transcended societal norms. And that was something that was really important for that organization, and that woman in particular, because she was saying that there has never been a Black woman to win, and it's important to say that Black women are beautiful too.
Definitely. And the
Misbehavior,
movie
check it out, it's really
Misbehavior
good.
is the name of the movie. Is that the name of the what the woman calls herself in that, or
No. So it is again, it's based, it's a fictionalized
right?
movie of a true event.
Hmm.
uh the let me look at, I actually had that, but I want to say it was Jennifer Houston. I hope I'm not getting that. Yeah, Jennifer Houston. Yes, um she became the first Black woman and the first woman from her country to win the title.
Very cool. Well, I was just thinking of that name and was like, as a stage name, Misbehavior.
Yeah, there you
I
go,
hope
yeah.
nobody takes that. I want to use that. So I was just making sure that it wasn't like a real Black woman who used that name, because I don't want to steal that. Black people have already had enough cultural things stolen from them, so I just wanted to be clear on that. So, but if you see misbehavior around, that's me, okay? Other than the movie. All right. Well, it was so nice talking to you. I'm glad that we got to get into it, and I think we talked about a lot of good things. Hiram, what is that noise? Uh, and so, if people want to follow you, or if they have any other questions, is it okay? Well, you probably don't want people in your DMs asking you a bunch of questions, but
Actually,
um,
that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I think that you've fostered a very positive community. I know you well enough that I would say that's fine. If people have questions, they're welcome to message me.
yeah,
Instagram's a great place to get a hold of me.
yeah. I too do not mind if people chat or hop into my DMs, as long as it's respectful,
Mhm.
and they have genuine questions and they actually want to learn about one of the topics I've been talking about, um, where it doesn't feel like a backhanded like comment or something like that. Like, keep that kind of stuff to yourself. But if you have an actual question or topic that you're interested in and you want to learn more about, and you know that I have the knowledge, go ahead and reach out to me. Anita said that she is open to that as well. And you are Anita Noel Green on Instagram and Facebook, also
Mhm.
on Facebook, also.
So the page is my Facebook page is, which I think it's Ms. Pacific Coast uh World, Ms. World Universal. Oh
Okay.
goodness, I should know
And
that,
then
shouldn't I?
and then you
Ms.
also
Pacific Coast World Universal Productions.
great. So make sure everybody goes and follows her there to keep up with what she's doing. She's doing big things. There's a lot of articles out, which we could have shared, but maybe another time. You can go out and look her name up, and you can find all the articles to see what she's been up to. There's a lot out there. And you're also, do you still do a lot of live streaming? You're on Twitch as Anita Noel Green as well, right?
I am
Hmm.
actually. I don't. I haven't been streaming a lot lately. Um, I do every once in a while now. I used to be really obsessed with streaming.
Mhm.
But I kind of hop on every now and again. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're welcome to follow me there, and if you want to stop by and say hi, I'd be happy to chat with everyone. Who know? I haven't decided yet. Maybe I'll be live tomorrow to say hi to
Hey,
people.
okay. No, yeah, it's funny because when I was streaming like almost every single day, pretty much every single day, I had people who, when I wouldn't stream for a day, miss me, and they would say, "Hey, we like, we fall asleep to your voice." Some people thought my voice was annoying, but other people apparently fell asleep to it. And I would like sing at the end of the night very badly, but people loved that, and they looked forward to it. So they would kind of pressure me and say, "Hey, you should just go live and talk about anything." But I just felt so uncomfortable just going live and being like, "Hey guys, I don't have anything to talk about, but I'm just sitting here chewing gum," or you know what I mean? Like no no
ASMR.
no shade to people who would do that, but I personally didn't feel comfortable doing that. And that, like, I even had people say to me, a few people actually, even people in my family say, like, "Oh, if you just turn the camera on, people would love to just watch you sleep. It's very relaxing." Like, that is so creepy. I don't want people to hear me snoring, especially strangers, okay? But yeah, no,
Do you snore loud, Cassandra? I mean Cassandra, Carissa. Oh my God.
you called me Cassandra and you called your other friend that you've known for a while named Taylor Tyler. Okay, Hiram.
Sorry, sorry.
I don't
No,
feel so
it's
bad
I
now.
get I get nervous when I speak up when I'm here on
Okay,
live.
okay,
It's scary.
Harold. No, I'm kidding. I love you, Hiram.
Oh,
Um, but
all
but
good.
yeah, so I try to stream twice a week. Go ahead and follow me over there. We'll be talking about more interesting topics, and I have my music show that I stream over on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook as well. Uh, yeah, give us a follow on. Oh, we have Based Podcast on Instagram. We have an Instagram page. I don't know if we're super active on there, but we will be if people are more interested, and give us a follow over there. But other
Oh my
than
God,
that,
Chris, I am gonna say that I'm mildly offended. And you too, Hiram. Um, you guys didn't even comment on these super cute earrings. I wore them just for you guys. They're little pumpkins.
oh
I
cute! I couldn't see them. I like the colors, but I think yeah, like I'm like super
I
close
just
to the
wanted to
camera,
show
and
them
so
off.
yes, they're cute, very festive, very
Oh,
festive.
thanks. I'm
love
glad you
them.
noticed.
I'm glad you pointed them out. Had you not, I would have never noticed, and my day wouldn't have not been that much better. So
But I'm glad. I'm glad. I was yeah.
They're very cute, and they also match your background wall too,
Oh,
a
a
little
little bit, I guess. Yeah, a little bit.
bit. And I also love the little stuffy that you have over there with the trans flag. I
Oh
noticed a little
yeah, my
hedgehog.
little sloth.
Oh, it's a
Yes.
sloth. Okay, I was like, is it a sloth or
Yes.
a hedgehog? Cute. All right, well, let's get together soon, Anita. Hiram, we're gonna be traveling together, so be seeing you in person here soon. But to everybody who's still tuned in, thank you so much. I hope you've learned something. Again, if you have a topic that you are interested in hearing us talk about, let us know. Give Anita some follows, give us some follows so you can keep up on our lives. Have a great night.